Hey guys, it's Neil again from Heart of Texas Armory, and today I want to bring you guys a discussion video talking about the 4 new models of the Seiko Alpinist that will be released on January 11th, 2020, so not too far from now. Now, these watches have been getting a lot of buzz here, and I have to admit they are pretty nice looking overall, but there's a bit of a controversy with these watches because the price. Now, these watches are going to be priced between $650 all the way up to $800, so quite a increase in price compared to the old Seiko Alpinists, like the SARB 17, for example. So the SARB 17 you can pick up all day in really good condition for $300, $350. These new models from Seiko, basically $700, so quite an upgrade in price here. And this is something I'm kind of upset with Seiko about, because it seems like these new models they're releasing, they're just way overpriced. So this Seiko Alpinist lineup here, they're going to be releasing in January, overpriced in my opinion for what you get. Another example would be the recently released Seiko SKX replacement, the Seiko 5. Those priced at around $300, although the price has come down a little bit on them, and I've seen them for sale for around $200, but still I think that's overpriced for what you're getting. Hopefully this trend will change, but based on what I'm seeing here, looks like Seiko is just going to be stepping up their prices on all their new models. So I would like to hear your thoughts on these watches too, so definitely leave them down below in the comment section. Now, before we take a look at these 4 new models, I want to show you guys this article here at thespringbar.com. Excellent article, a ton of great info and history on the Seiko Alpinist. So the Seiko Alpinist is one of the oldest lines in the Seiko catalog. So I believe the first model here was in 1961. So has a lot of history. One thing I want to show you guys here, this right here is pretty cool. This is a timeline of all the Seiko Alpinists. So you can see the first one, 1961. The next version was 1963, followed by 64, the 95 variant, which those are very collectible, the red Alpinists, those are really cool. Then you got a different model here in 2003, the 8F56, and then finally the SARB series, which was released in 2006, and the most popular of those is the SARB 17 with that green dial right there. Personally, I'm not a big fan of that green and gold color, but a lot of people like them, and they are very popular and collectible. So definitely check out this article. You can see there is a ton of good information in here, a lot of good pictures, a lot of history here, so pretty interesting read. I do suggest you head over to thespringbar.com and check out this article. It's well worth it, particularly if you're a fan of the Seiko Alpinist. So it goes from the very beginning all the way to these new ones that will be releasing in January 11, 2020. So let me bring up a PDF that I created right here. Here's a look at the new model. So again, these are releasing on January 11th, 2020. This one here is my personal favorite of the group. There are 4 models here. This one is SPB 117. That's the US reference number. The Japanese sites are going to have a different reference number, but here in the States it's going to be the SPB, which is good because it ties in with the other Prospect watches that Seiko has. So this has the black dial, which I'm a big fan of, and the steel bracelet, which I love bracelets. So this one here looks like it's going to be a very versatile piece. It doesn't have the Arabics as well, so this one has these little triangle indices, which is kind of cool. But I do like the overall look at it. But let's look at the specs here. So dimensions are going to be the same. They're not changing the case on these watches, so that's good. 39.5, that's just about perfect. Short lug to lug as well. Water resistance here stays at 200 meters, so that's excellent. Screw down crown. The movement, we're getting a pretty good upgrade here. We're going from the SARB 17 had a 6R15 movement. Excellent high beat movement, hand winds, hacks. I think it has a 50-hour power reserve. This new one here, 6R35, that movement there, you're going up to 70 hours of power reserve. So that's a nice upgrade, although it doesn't justify the price in my opinion. We already talked about the stainless steel bracelet, which is a nice upgrade. Price $750. So that's the first one. The second one here This is what we're going to be calling the gray model, so kind of a silverish gray dial. This picture makes it kind of look kind of champagne, but it's actually kind of a silver or grayish color. You do see it, we've got the Arabics back here with silver coloring in it, which is kind of not a very good contrast. So I think this model here is going to be kind of difficult to read at a glance. And I've actually got a video on YouTube of this watch, of a customer unboxing it, so we'll show that here in a minute so you can see what it looks like in real life on video. This one here comes with that black leather strap. $725 is the estimated price on this one. The rest of the specs are going to be the same. The next one, which this one I'm sure is going to be very popular, so you get that brown leather strap, the iconic green dial with the gold Arabic indices here. So this one here, same price, $725. And then the last model here, the SPB123. This one is the champagne model, so the gold indices here with a champagne dial. So that's kind of interesting if you like kind of a gold colors with that champagne look. That's kind of a classy look, but I'm not a big fan of that kind of greenish leather strap. But I'm sure that one will sell pretty well as well. A couple other things I'll mention about these models is, and I'm not a big fan of these changes. So one, they dropped the sign crown. So these new models don't have the S for Seiko. So I'm not a big fan of dropping out that sign crown. These here are just going to have a polished crown on both of these. So kind of a disappointment that they didn't use that same sign crown. I mean, they already have the tooling to make it. It's just another cost savings while raising the price, which is kind of frustrating. And then another thing here, some people are going to really like this. I'm not a big fan of it, but so they added a date magnifier here on the sapphire crystal. You can see it right here. Not a big fan of date magnifiers. To me, it just kind of gets in the way. You get a lot of dirt that builds up around that edge there, but a lot of people like them because it's just easier to read the date, of course. Now, one thing I'm not a fan of too is these date wheels are not color matched to the dial. So you can see white date wheel here, black dial. That one is better. The green, obviously green and white. This doesn't look very nice. This one too, you can see champagne and white. They should have color matched the date wheel in my opinion, but I will point that out. So that's a look at these 4 new models. Let me switch back over here to my browser and show you guys the video I was talking about. So here is that kind of gray version here with the silver lettering. So let me just let this play for a second so we can see some of the details. So I will start that up right now and we'll zoom in here. So you can see it does look nice in person here. The contrast is a little better in that picture. You can actually see the time, although I think that black version is going to be the easiest to read out of the bunch. You can see that date magnifier right here. Again, me personally, I don't like those. I know a lot of people do, so that's kind of personal preference. Let me zoom forward here so we can show you the crowns that are not signed. Here's the opposite side so we can see that nice polishing. So typical Seiko polishing looks excellent. Here's a look at the crowns. So you can see they are not signed, just polished crowns. So a little bit of a disappointment there. Not a huge negative, but I will point that out. And then the last thing here, let's look at the case back. So you can see that 6R35 movement. There's a look at that automatic movement right there from Seiko. So you do get the see-through case back, which is nice. And then finally, the last thing here, we'll just do a little loom. Now, of course, the Alpinist is never known for, be a loom torch, but it does have pretty good loom. So overall, it's a nice looking watch. My thoughts on these things, I think Seiko just is ridiculous on the pricing of these things. If they would have come out around $500, I think the reception would have been 100% positive. But with this price point of $700, and basically the only thing you're getting as an upgrade with these is that movement, that 6R35 movement. But the previous movement, the 6R15, that was an excellent movement. You got 50 hours of power reserve with that. So You're telling me that the slight upgrade in power reserve is worth double the price. To me, it's not. I'm not a big fan of these changes. I don't like the date wheel being a contrasting color. It should have been color matched. Dropping the sign crown. I just don't understand what Seiko is doing with these new models. Sure, they're going to be great watches. I would love to own one, but not at this price point. So hopefully in the future, Seiko, when they come out with these new models, they're going to realize that they're kind of price gouging us here and come back down to earth with their pricing, and that would be a positive move in my opinion. So that's my thoughts on these new Seiko Alpinists. They are pretty. They are going to probably sell very well, but in my opinion, these changes that they made just weren't needed. And certainly that price is a bit steep. But I would love to hear your thoughts on these new watches, so definitely leave your comments down below. And guys, I'll catch you on the next one. Y'all take care.